I'm joined by Hawk Honey, who's got a blog on, if you want to go there, it's now SuffolkNaturalist.com. I mean, Hawk, do you sketch as well?
No?
No?
Not a pretty sketch at all.
Really? Yes. I mean, I'll take you through the sequence here, because that was take one, which obviously, yeah, not brilliant.
Better than what I could do.
I don't know about that. And then we had take two, which got slightly better. And then we got carried away with it. And we had to go at that. Which, well, it's the head's on fire. It's too small, but it's a step in the right direction. We're going to be challenging Nick Baker a wee bit later in the programme to try and draw some sand martins. So that should be good fun. It's 6 minutes to 1 if you're watching the clock, or if you're having your lunch. Stick with us for a while. There's a whole pile going on. First of all, we're talking about different ways of documenting the wildlife experience, hence the illustrations or hence the paintings. Talk me through what you do.
Well, I just record whatever wildlife I see, whether it be an insect, bird, mammal. It could be in my garden, it could be while I'm out on a walk, it could be while I'm walking to the shops. Anything you see, if you can take a photo of it, you can upload it to iSpot if you're not sure what species you have, or if you do know what you have. There's a website called iRecord, and there all the information that gets uploaded to that goes to your local biological record centre, and there's a record is made of it. So it's more about what wildlife and biodiversity we have in the UK.
So is this a tick list, and is it kind of the version of twitching, or is this generally you see the same thing 5 times, you log it every time?
Yeah, log it every day, because it's also, by logging it, we're inadvertently as well making a note of what we don't see. And by doing this over a long-term trend, we can see how certain species are being affected, and what we can do to sort of improve their environment. For example, like Purtis Heath, there's a small piece of heathland just east of Ipswich. Used to have around 2,000 silver-studded blue butterflies. That was about 10 years ago. In 2010, the number went down to 10.
Wow.
Butterfly Conservation, through their volunteers, done a lot of heathland clearing, getting rid of the deciduous trees that were encroaching on the heathland, and already the numbers have started coming up. So, you know, by recording during surveys, there's a lot of apps you can use, like Butterfly Conservation and iLadybird, which you can take a photo, record it, it records exactly where you found it, and uploads it straight to iRecord.
But you're also doing a blog as well, you're not just recording stuff.
Yeah, I do the blog because I try to educate people. When I find out information, I like to share it. And people, usually when they speak to me, they're usually quite interested in the stuff that I find and what I have to tell them. And yeah, I just like to share that sort of information. So
we've got an example. This is SuffolkNaturalist.com. Can you tell me through what you got here?
Well, this was I found this beetle on a butterfly conservation walk, and I found out it was a lesser-blooded beetle. Lesser-blooded nose beetle. It's a beetle that, when it gets frightened, it exudes a red liquid from its face, and it looks like it's got a bloody nose. I got it home, took some photos of it, and found out a bit more about it, and found out that it was a flightless beetle as well. Its elytra at the back has become fused, so it can only walk wherever it's got to go. So
you're not pretending to be an expert at this point, but you're sharing your knowledge that you have found.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm no expert, far from an expert, but whatever knowledge I do find, I'm always willing to share.
So even anybody in particular is aimed at children? Wow, that's a big one.
That's an emperor moth caterpillar.
That's a serious caterpillar.
A friend of mine, my neighbour actually, a female moth had landed on a window. She knew that I did moth tracking on a regular basis, and gave it to my wife. I was at work at the time. By the time I got home, it laid 100 eggs. I found out what the caterpillar ate, because not all caterpillars just eat grass. They all have a particular food plant. And I raised them on, and they hatched about 2 to 3 metres.
How do you raise
an
emperor moth egg?
Well, it's simple.
Are they big and small?
No, the egg's only about 1 millimetre. When the caterpillar actually hatches, it's only about 2 millimetres long.
Wow.
And immediately they are eating machines. And I had about 80 of these.
You don't want them in your garden. That's going to destroy your brassicas.
Well, no, you can get something like a raising cage. It's like a lizard terrarium. And put them in there, keep them with regular supply of fresh food, and they just eat.
So they're natural to Britain?
Yes, they are. Yeah, the interesting thing about them is the male flies during the day and the female only flies at night.
Wonder how they ever meet.
pheromones, because I've actually taken females out onto the heathland to release them with the lid of the box open, and within 5 minutes 2 males flew in from 100 yards away and went straight into the box.
Wow.
That is really quite impressive.
We chatted to Nick Baker about that, because that's how we actually first met. We were out trying to capture moths out in the heathland out in Dartmoor one day. It was brilliant. Now, you've also been involved in moth chapping generally, not just your emperor one. I mean, what's the attraction of that? It's a dull, boring little thing, isn't it?
No, they're not. There's in the UK, we've got around 2,500 different species of moth. 1,800 of them are mainly micromoths, which go from 2 millimetres to 10 millimetres long. And then you've got about 800 macromoths, which are the larger moths.
The big ones.
Yeah. And the colour variations, the pattern variations are just amazing to see. Once you get them close up, they're amazing to see.
We had some on the roof of the production tent here at Springwatch in the Media Village, and it was just this gorgeous silvery colour. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, there's some amazing ones, especially the hawk moths as well. You get like the elephant hawk moth. It's a beautiful pink and green moth. It's
you can hear the woodpecker.
Oh, wow.
Noisy. Check, isn't it? There's the one with the jackdaw's nest just above it.
Wow.
Have there been any interaction between them so far? Not yet.
No, not today so far.
Because there was a bit of battling going on the other day. And the hope is, of course, that that hole's too small for the jackdaw to go in, otherwise it's going to be carnage in there.
Yeah, definitely. That there.
And you're out and about at different shows and things like that, speaking to people.
Yeah.
Touch. Where have you been recently? What have you been doing?
Well, I'm a volunteer for Suffolk Wildlife Trust, education and events volunteer. Recently, last week, we had the Suffolk Show, which is a 2-day event held every year in Suffolk. It's a prime event. And we've been showing children how to build bug hotels.
Excellent.
Do mini-bees hunting and things like that. And explain to them what the creatures are they're finding and, you know, what sort of creatures will use bug hotels over winter and how it improves the environment.
Brilliant. I've actually got some of the photographs of the moth coming up here. I'm just going to try and bring this up. It's 1 o'clock if you're watching the clock now. What is that?
That's a pair of rosemary beetles. They're an invasive species. Female and bum, obviously, but yeah, they're
not welcome in there.
Not welcome at all, no, especially for herb growers, because they will attack rosemary, they'll attack sage, they'll attack thyme.
Amazing colour, isn't it?
They are fantastic. They're like rainbows. They really are.
It's captured Nick's interest. Nick's arrived in the truck and he's sort of giving it a beautiful hard look there. Did you recognise that one, Nick?
Yeah, we had it on the show last night.
There you go. I didn't see it because I was outside being ripped to shreds by Chris at that point. So, why do you want to get out to do some of the Suffolk show? I mean, what's the attraction of it?
It's great. I think there's a need for children to learn more about nature. I think there's something missing in schools. There's so many kids that do not know what's in their environment and how to interact with what's in their environment. So I think it's a great need to actually teach kids what's out there, that not all bugs are scary, not all bugs are going to bite you or sting you, you know. And
with my arm, chewed alive last night. Where are you on the Pine Martin debate? Because we're going to be looking at Pine Martins in a minute or two. There's a suggestion that it should be reintroduced in England. I would suggest that it would devastate a reserve list. Interesting debate. What's you thinking?
I think, yeah, they should be reintroduced. I think that at first there might be a bit of devastation, but I think in the end, balance will sort of work itself out, and there will be an equal balance. It will sort of.
Well, I'm not totally convinced. This is a Pine Martin election. It's quite a scary beastie, as you go to see. Anyway, thank you very much. Give me your web address again.
It's www.suffolknaturalist.com.
Brilliant. Go there and add your voice to the debate. You're watching Springwatch Extra. It's 2 minutes past 1.